Hello everybody. I am trying this out for the first time actually on my iPhone. If you guys have been watching my channel at digitalnomad.net, you know that I got an iPhone not too long ago. It was, I don't know, something like a month ago, because my Samsung that I had was basically stolen. It was a smash and grab out of my truck when I was working up in Maryland. So now I got this iPhone, and apparently I can do this. Let's see, I'm trying to move this window so I can see more what I'm doing. Yeah, I can do all this while I'm driving. You can see I am driving, and say hi if you're out there. Give me a little, I don't know, thumbs up, anything. If you're on YouTube, definitely give me a thumbs up. Subscribe, aDigitalNomad.net. That's our main channel. You may also be watching this on our nonprofit channel, aPlantBasedDiet.org. So if you're into plant-based eating, definitely check that out. You see I got my sun visor down because the sun is right over there. Okay, and you can see I'm out in rural Virginia. Hopefully I'm going to have some good signal. I'm on the road now, and I just got some neat ideas that I wanted to discuss with you guys and kind of give an overview, as you can see on the topic of this video, which is the lifespan of conventional brakes. And this is not a Tesla specific video. It really deals with any electric vehicle and even hybrids. And I want to kind of start by giving you my experience. So, like, why is this guy saying this? Well, first of all, obviously I've been driving my Tesla for 4.5 years. I know about electric cars. I've experienced everything you can think of with my Tesla Model X, which I'm in right now. And it's got the full autopilot software suite. We've got unlimited supercharging, so I've supercharged close to 2,000 times already, and I'll do another video in the future about the life of battery packs, I think. Actually, that is really distracting, isn't it? I'm just trying to figure out how this is working. And you can see my hat in the back. That looks a little bit better. And now you get like half the sun on me. Not ideal lighting qualities here for a video. But anyway, I put 172,000 plus miles on this vehicle as well in 4.5 years. So I've been through everything in terms of maintaining and things breaking. And let me let autopilot change lane for us. It's changing. You can see we're moving. Okay. So what about brakes? Well, before I had my Tesla, I have, and I still own, my wife Denise drives a 2012 Lexus CT200. And the CT200 is one of the Toyota hybrids. Toyota has awesome hybrid systems. I'll say that about Toyota. I know there's been a lot of talk recently about comparing Toyota stock to Tesla stock in terms of their total market cap versus earnings and things like that. And of course, Tesla is actually, I think, valued higher than Toyota right now. And Toyota makes awesome quality ICE vehicles, but they are ICE vehicles. Let me adjust the temperature there while I'm talking to you. This requires more effort than just sitting here driving. So Toyota makes awesome ICE vehicles, awesome quality. For instance, I have only taken that car back once to the dealer. Actually, it wasn't even me, it was my wife Denise. She took that CT200 back to the dealer because it had some small recall on the front A-pillar airbag assembly, something like that, needed to be fixed. So that was fixed. But other than that, they haven't done any work on the car. If you can believe it. Oh, let me tell you background. 2012, owned it since it was new. So it's 9 years old. It's got 190,000 plus miles on it right now. I believe, if my wife Denise is out there, she can comment. I believe it's 190. I think that's where we are right now. So, tons of mileage. And let me tell you, we have not changed the brake pads on it. The only thing I've changed is fluids. And when I say fluids, I really just mean transmission and engine oil, fluids like that. So, the brakes have been flawless. Now, why? There's a couple reasons, and it didn't have to be that way. And that's kind of what I want to talk about in this video, because people have asked about Tesla brakes. How long should Tesla brakes last? Well, that depends on a number of factors. I'm also speaking from experience on owning my previous car before the Lexus, which was for 20 years. It was a 1992 Honda Civic. I owned it since it was original. Put, I think, about 370,000 miles on that, and the engine finally threw a rod, so it was time to get that Lexus. And I'm glad I did, because there was a huge bump up in actually mileage. Even though that was a very efficient Honda 4-door, 1.6, the Lexus, if you drive it right, and a lot of this is going to be about driving technique, a lot of this video, you're going to get a tremendous amount of use like you wouldn't believe. If you drive it wrong, meaning out of balance, you got to drive in balance, awesome, low cost, low maintenance, but if you drive out of balance, you're going to pay for it, and you're going to have to do more maintenance to your car. So, where am I right now on my Tesla? Some folks have seen, because I put this online, that I have not replaced the brake pads on this Tesla Model X. I've been towing, I've been doing all kinds of stuff with this Model X. This is not just straight up highway driving, which really the Lexus was, I'd say, for the most part. And a lot of the Civic was too. Not all of it, but a lot of it. And I'm still on the original set of brake pads on this car. 172 plus thousand miles on this car, original brakes. But like I said, my Lexus 190 original brakes. And actually, we even rented that out on Hire Car. We got some videos on that too if you want to learn about the experience. And long story short, we're not renting it out on Hire Car anymore unless they change their policies. But you can watch those videos if you have one. So, what allows me to get almost 200,000 miles out of my brake pads? And keep in mind, they haven't been replaced yet. And they don't necessarily need to be replaced. And I will also tell you that on my Honda Civic 1992, I did need to replace some calipers near the end. I was going through brake pads on a regular basis because that's a conventional car, conventional ICE vehicle with zero regenerative braking. So if you guys don't know, basically hybrid vehicles have regenerative braking available. So on a hybrid car, you don't notice any difference driving, but there should be a gauge on there that tells you when you're using the regen braking and when you go into conventional braking. Usually there's a zone that you want to keep it in, and the car wants you to keep it in there because it's most efficient. The minute you tap too hard, push just a little too hard on that pedal, you are going to enter the conventional brakes, all right? And that obviously slows down all the momentum you have, and it messes with your efficiency. It lowers the efficiency of your driving. So you don't want to do that if you can avoid it. So same thing. So actually, it's different with Teslas. Let's talk about Teslas. Not all EVs are the same. A lot of EVs drive like a hybrid, which is the same as a regular non-hybrid car. Like I said, you will tap on the brake pedal. Let's switch lanes here. When you need the brakes. Now, in a Tesla, the idea is never to touch the brake pedal, because whenever you touch the brake pedal, you are using the conventional brakes in a Tesla. Doesn't mean all EVs are like that. Just Tesla EVs are like that. So, sorry, got distracted there. The idea with a Tesla is to never touch that brake pedal. The only times I ever touch it, unless I'm in a panic stop, are basically times when I'm down to like 3 miles an hour to zero, because my car doesn't stop on its own. Some of the newer Teslas, I believe, stop on their own without conventional brakes at all. But you do want to get some use on there, and the reason why is because, like I said, I own my Honda Civic 1992 for 20 years, and it was in a colder climate. It had to go through winters. There was a lot of rust and corrosion on the slider pins that allow that caliper to move back and forth to position itself along the brake rotor, and they have to be lubricated, and they seize up sometimes, and so does the actual piston and the caliper seize up, and that will happen. Some people will say due to lack of use and just rain, but it's really, I think, more of a cold climate thing. It's not a warm climate thing as much. It's more of the beach kind of thing. Like, you know, you're at the beach and you see people's HVAC units on their houses all rusted out. It's because the humidity is ridiculously high. It just causes corrosion on the metals. They don't slide, they don't work. Same thing as cold winter climates. They do some very similar stuff over there. And you have to watch the condition of those calipers. However, I'm in more warm climates. I have taken this Tesla. You've seen some early videos about me opening Falcon Wing doors in the snow up to Northwest Pennsylvania. Only a couple drives. I'm hoping it's not going to really affect the lifespan with corrosion and things on it, and especially because S and X Teslas are almost all aluminum. Not fully, but almost all. As opposed to 3 and Y, which have tons of regular sheet metal, steel metal, like regular vehicles. Anyway, so I'm telling you this because that can mess up your brakes, and you may need to fix your brakes before you even need to change your pads if you're driving well. So, again, going back to driving, your driving technique is going to be everything here with how long you can get out of your brake pads. You're just going to have to learn to anticipate. Okay, if you anticipate slowdowns in traffic, you will not need to touch that brake pedal on your Tesla, or you will not need to go into the conventional zone on your hybrid. Again, regular car, conventional, just regular ICE vehicle without any hybrid technology or electric, you got no choice. You got to get into the brakes unless you're downshifting on a manual transmission. So I guess that's kind of the equivalent, right? Your smart, balanced driving in a hybrid or EV is kind of equivalent to downshifting to use braking, because you don't need to use brakes if you downshift. Like if your brakes go out in the manual transmission car, you can possibly slow the car down just by downshifting. Unfortunately, it's going to wear the transmission out instead of the brakes. That's always been the thing, the trade-off. So it's always still good to anticipate your slowdowns, kind of let off the accelerator in advance, etc. But if you don't do that, if you're driving aggressively, you could go through your brake pads on your hybrid and your EV almost as fast as you could on your non-hybrid, non-EV conventional ICE vehicle. And if you guys don't know, again, I'm going to describe this for beginners. Conventional ICE vehicle, internal combustion engine, anything like gasoline, diesel, it has explosions, it's internal combustion, internal explosions where pistons move up and down. You got all kinds of burning of fossil fuels, byproducts of combustion, deadly gases that are being generated by your car. Don't ever operate it in an enclosed area. Your electric car, however, you can do that anywhere. Your hybrid, you can't either, because that engine will come on when you least want it to actually pop on. So that is basically the overview. And if you guys have any questions, please write them in the comments. Share this with anybody if you're not sure about how these vehicles work. And just know that there's going to be a range. And like I said, I'll report back and I'll tell you how I'm doing on my Lexus 2012, if it needs brake pads and when. And like I said, I had some people driving on a hired car, and I know that I'm sure they were driving it probably aggressively, but maybe it needed that. Maybe it needed the pistons and the slider calipers needed some workout, some sliding in there, some movement. Mechanical things always need movement. If just brakes never get used, like I said, that causes it to destroy itself, basically. The machines are designed to be used, kind of like your body, designed to be used. They start to complain and break down and shut down if you don't use them. So that could be a good thing. I don't know. But it's going to wear the pads more for sure, but at least it'll keep the calipers in shape where they don't need to be replaced. And if you have experiences too, let me know here in the comments. How have you done with your the life of your brake pads on your Tesla vehicle, your electric vehicle, or BEV, battery electric vehicle, your hybrid? And going back to my conventional ICE car, the Honda Civic 1992 that I had, I think I was going through pads, I'm guessing front pads, every I don't know, 50,000 miles, something like that. And I had a stick shift, but I didn't want to downshift all the time and go through a transmission. I never needed a transmission in almost 400,000 miles. No transmission work was ever needed. No transmission replacement, nothing. And then, by the way, in most all electric vehicles, unless you're a Porsche, Taycan, whatever, they have 2-speed transmissions. Most of them have just a single-speed gearbox that's fixed and you can't change it. It's still a transmission. So, and anyway, there is the added dimension of driveline wear because of regenerative braking, which is really not a lot known about, since not a lot of cars have had regen braking for a while. But the driveline is getting wear in forward motion and in reverse motion, if you think about it. So you got to consider that driveline wear is going to be more than in an ICE vehicle, although driveline components have hopefully gotten better. We hope, but although we've had some experiences that have told us otherwise, we won't go into those here. So I'd say it comes down to, in summary, are you a driver that anticipates the road? Do you practice balanced driving, or are you an aggressive driver, or a driver that just doesn't give a shit, doesn't care? Because if you don't care, you're going to be reactive. And when you're reactive as a driver, that is when you create all this additional wear in the components, especially the brakes. Okay? And that has other things too, because you're going to wear the suspension more. Also, you're going to be hitting more potholes when you're braking. By the way, speaking of braking, don't ever brake over a pothole. Don't ever accelerate over a pothole. You see a giant pothole, you can't avoid it, just drive right through it. But let off the brakes, let off the accelerator. Don't, just kind of glide over that. Actually, I shouldn't say let off. If you here's the thing with Teslas: if you let off the accelerator, you're in the braking, which is interesting. Another interesting fact. Same with hybrids are not the same because you have to push the pedal to engage the brakes, to even engage the regen on a hybrid. But on a Tesla, if you're on an icy, snowy hill heading downhill and you let off the accelerator, you may lock all the wheels, or it may try to lock on you. Consider that. Just recognize that. That is something to all people should be concerned about. I don't drive that much in snow anymore, but anybody who drives in snow, parks the car on a hill, icy hill, you got to be very concerned, because the minute you, like I said, the minute you let off that accelerator, the only way to kind of keep it freewheeling in a Tesla, short of them arriving at a software solution, is to kind of keep your foot right on that accelerator and let off slightly and go right back on the accelerator until that car continues to roll. That's the only way that I know to do it. Like I said, I'm sure they'll have a software solution. I'm talking about when you're driving, by the way. All right, and I'm not talking about changing a mode. I'm just talking about you're in normal mode of driving. You're encountering snow. You're on a steep hill, that kind of thing. So again, look forward to reading your comments. Let me know how many miles you got out of your brakes. And I've seen people, who can only get 30,000 miles out of their brakes on a Tesla, or who never use them, and they corrode and just kill themselves because of a lack of use on those components. So again, this is Mike, digitalnomad.net. Thanks so much for watching. Look forward to reading your comments, and send me some ideas too for other videos. I need to find out how to turn this thing off. This is interesting. So this is my first video I've done here. Oh, there it is. It's right there. Bye, everybody. Have a good day. Bye-bye.